Yes, audible.
Okay, thanks. So we will be starting in next 5 minutes. Okay. Okay, guys, let's start today's discussion. Uh, Let me start the recording first. Okay. So, guys, as of now, if you have attended the previous sessions, so we have still discussed the basic architecture of the Palo Alto Firewall, how the Palo Alto Firewall works, right? The SP3 architecture, okay, and the different models and initial configuration setup with our Palo Alto firewall, right? How to configure the management IP address, how we can get the first time access of the firewall, right? So today we will see how we can deploy the firewall in a layer 3 mode. Okay, this will be a totally practical approach. Okay, so let me share my screen first. My I'm audible, right?
Yes, you're audible.
So you guys can see my screen, right?
Yes.
So, guys, when we talk about the Palo Alto firewall, now we have several methods of deploying Palo Alto firewall in our network. Okay, so we have a layer 3 mode of deployment. Okay, layer 2 mode of deployment. Okay, and then we have tap mode of deployment, and then we have vWire. Okay, these are the four deployment methods available with our Palo Alto firewall. Okay, so layer 3, as you can understand with the information, what will be done in layer 3, we will be configuring the IP addressing in our firewall, right? And then we will see how we can control the traffic based on the security policies, and all those things will come under the layer 3 deployment. Okay, means in layer 3, our firewall will be like we can provide the IP addressing in our firewall. Okay, and we can do the routing, netting, all those things. Okay, and then we have a layer 2 deployment. In case of layer 2 deployment, we can use it as a switch, right? And then the tap mode of deployment. In case of tap mode deployment, our firewall is a part of our network, and it is used to like passively monitor the network, right? It doesn't involved in a active network. Like suppose this is my firewall. Okay, this is my one network running on already. Okay, so here I will put the Palo Alto firewall in apart from the network. Okay, to passively monitor the network. Okay, so that it can detect or it can apply the signatures, or we can verify whether the firewall is detecting or any kind of malicious activities or not. It is like a IDS. Okay, just it is put apart from the network to passively like monitor the network. So we will discuss in very brief when we will be discussing the tap mode of deployment. Okay, we will see how we can deploy the firewall in tap mode, right? Here I'm just giving you the overview. Okay, then we have a vWire mode of deployment. vWire is a kind of deployment where your firewall is put in a transparent mode. Transparent mode means suppose you have a running network. Okay, you already have suppose any firewall in your network, ASA firewall, and then you have a core switch here, right? And then you have your internal network here, and here we have ISP connected. Okay, so you have a requirement where you need to put the next generation firewall into your network, but you do not want to do the many changes in your network. So how you can do that? You can put the Palo Alto Firewall in a vWire mode. Okay. So in vWire mode, you do not need to make the too many changes in your existing infrastructure. And still you can place your firewall into the network and you can control the network traffic. Okay. With your next generation firewall, or you can see the features of the firewall, right? So this is the 4 methods of deployment available with our Palo Alto Firewall. Okay. So today we will see how we can configure the firewall in layer 3 mode. Okay. So this is going to be our topology for today. Okay. Here, if you will see, I have used this Palo Alto Firewall. Okay. This is my management interface. This is my management system. Okay. So in the management network, I'm using 172.16.1/24 series of IP addressing. Okay. Here I have created one zone, that is our DMZ zone. Here I'm using 20s network. Okay. And this is my local area network. Here I'll be using 10s network. Okay. So we will see how we can like configure the interfaces of the firewall, and we can deploy the firewall in a layer 3 mode, or we can enable the internet in the LAN zone, or we can establish the communication from the LAN zone to DMZ zone based on the security policies. Okay, these are all the topics for today. Okay, so guys, let me tell you one thing. So in this lab scenario, what will happen in lab scenario, we have this range of IP. Okay, we will be assigning this range of IP in my I will be assigning this range of IP in my WAN interface. Okay, this interface I'll be treating as a WAN because it is connected to the internet, right? So this IP range in our lab environment is a public IP. Okay, although it's a private IP, but just assume means you can consider this as a public IP. Okay, in for the lab testing. Okay, in our lab environment, this range means this range. Okay, this is our public IP range. Okay, so I can use any IP from this range in this interface. So that will be a public IP for me.
Vishal,
Okay.
Vishal, are you sharing something? Any whiteboard you are sharing? Because we can see only the
You
diagram.
can only see the okay. My entire screen is not visible. Let me share it again. Now is it visible?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, thanks for
Uh,
letting me know. Okay, so I'll talking about this topology. Okay, see, this is gonna be our topology for today. Okay, this is my management network. Okay, so here I'm using one management port. Okay, and this is my management system that I'll be using for configuring this Palo Alto Firewall. Okay, this is my management subnet, right? And here this is my WAN link is connected. Okay, means internet link is connected with this port of the Palo Alto Firewall, ETH 1/3. And I was talking about this subnet. This subnet is our public IP in case of our lab environment. Okay, so 192.168 series of IP, I can use any IP from this range. That will be a public IP for me. Okay, just although it's a private IP, but you can consider it as a public IP because the internet is available, VM netting is done. Okay, so we will be treating this as a public IP. Okay, this is my management interface. This is my management. Okay, so guys, here we also have one zone, that is our DMZ zone. Okay, here I'll be using this range of IP schema. Okay, and another zone is available here, that is our LAN zone. Okay, in LAN zone I'll be using 10s subnet. Okay, since our Palo Alto Firewall is a zone-based firewall, so I'll be configuring the different zones here, right? That is our DMZ zone, LAN zone, and this is WAN untrust zone. Okay, so what is a zone? Zone is basically your logical grouping of your interfaces. Okay, so we will see how we can configure the zones, how we can deploy the firewall. Okay, so this is any confusion, any doubt in understanding this topology, guys? Anyone have any query?
So the management interface, it doesn't have any zones, right? Is it default? Is it?
No, you do not need to assign any zone here, right? It is only placed in a network to take the access or to configure the firewall, right?
Okay. Just for control plane, right?
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so we are good to start the configuration. So I'll log into the firewall first. Okay. admin, and default password is also admin. Okay. First time it is giving me a prompt to change the password. So let me change the password first. Admin at 123. Okay. Oh, sorry, I need to give the old password first, right? Admin, and the old password is admin. New password I'll give it as admin at 123. Admin at 123. Okay. Yeah, we have logged in. Now, our very first task is to configure our management interface IP, right? That is our 172.16.1.100 that we have already discussed in our previous session, right? So let me try to configure the management interface. So how we can configure it, I have already discussed it in our previous session. Okay, we need to go to the configuration mode, then we need to run the commands device config system type static. Okay, why this command is required? Can anyone tell me? We discussed it. System IP address. Okay, this is the next command. So here I'll be giving an IP address of 172 range, 172.16. 1 dot, what IP we have decided? 100, right? So I'll give 100, and then the net mask, that is 255.255.255.0. Okay, and then finally we need to commit the configuration. Okay, to apply the changes you have done with the configuration, you always need to commit the configuration in your Palo Alto firewall, right? Then only your changes will be applied to the firewall configuration, right? So this is the command you can configure. Okay, so we have given the first command as a set device config system type static. The reason behind this, because the management interface is by default configured to take the IP from the DHCP. Okay, so that is the reason we need to define it as a static. Then it will take the static IP. Okay, now I can check the IP address. So system, so interface management, right? So here you guys can see the IP addressing has been assigned. Okay, management IP has been assigned to our Palo Alto Firewall. Okay, now I'll be able to take the access. Let me check the IP addressing in this management system. We need a same range of IP in this system also, right? Then only I will be able to take the access of the firewall, right? Yeah, I'm having the same range of IP in the system. Let me try to ping the IP. Whether my management IP is pingable or not from this system. 172.16.1.100, right? Yeah, it's reachable. So let me try to access the firewall. Yeah, we are getting the login page. So can anyone tell me why we are getting the what is the reason we can ping the IP, management IP? We discussed in last session.
Sir, because by services are enabled,
Yes.
then your SSH and HTTPS, they are enabled by default. Services are open by default.
Good. These three services, HTTPS, ping, and SSH service is by default enabled on your management port, right? That is the reason we are able to take the HTTPS access as well as we are able to ping the management IP, right? Rest of the interfaces, if you will configure the rest of the interfaces, you will not be able to ping. Okay, you will have to attach the management profile with your interfaces. Then only you will be able to ping or allow any services. Okay, so we have successfully logged in with our firewall. Okay, so our very first task is to create 3 zones, right? We will be creating LAN zone, WAN zone, and DMZ zone, right? So let's go to the configuration. Here I'll go to the network. Okay, you need to come to the network tab, and here in network tab you can see we have a zone available. Okay, so here we will be configuring zone first. Okay, guys, please mute yourself. Okay, LAN trust zone. Okay, so here you guys can see we are getting the type. Okay, here we need to select the type. So which type we want to deploy it in? We want to deploy it in layer 3 mode. So I'll be choosing layer 3. Okay, so LAN zone is created successfully. Similarly, we can create the DMZ zone. Okay. Then again, you need to select the type. I'll choose the type as a layer 3 and I'll click on OK. Yeah, it's fine. Then I'll choose the WAN zone. Okay.
What is the log setting?
Log setting is used whenever you will be configuring the syslog or log forwarding. Okay. So we have a dedicated session for that. We will see that. Okay.
Okay.
Whenever you will be configuring the log forwarding, in that scenario, this is required to configure. Okay, we will discuss. Okay, so this is the way we can create the zones in our Palo Alto Firewall. All these zones are in layer 3 mode. Okay, we have created a layer 3 type of zone here. Okay, so zones are already configured. Now we need to configure the IP addressing. So how you can configure the interface IPs? You need to go to the network and then interfaces. Okay, inside your interfaces you can see all the interfaces. Okay, so first interface is my LAN interface, that is ETH 1 by 1, right? That I'll be configuring first. So ETH 1 by 1 is my LAN interface. Okay, so here if you want to connect, like give the alias, so you can give any alias like this, LAN connected port. Okay, any comment. So here it is again asking you to choose the type of the interfaces. Here we will be choosing the layer 3 type, right? Because we are deploying the firewall in a layer 3 mode. Okay. So now here it is giving you the option to choose the virtual router. Virtual router is basically your default routing table available in your FortiGate, Palo Alto Firewall. Okay. So by default, we have a one default route available. Guys, please mute yourself.
हाँ 7 से शहर की कर रहे हो
Please mute yourself, Sunil Chaudhary.
हाँ बंदे हैं
Okay, sorry. Okay. So guys, we were discussing about this virtual router. So in case of our Palo Alto Firewall, we have a default virtual router available. Okay. So default virtual router means your routing table. Okay. So we will discuss about the virtual router. As of now, I'm going with the default. Okay. Default is a default means by default only one virtual router exists. Here you can put the interfaces. Okay, and you can enable the routing. Okay, default router is basically a routing table. If you want to have a different routing table, like in VRF available in your routers, right? Similarly, you can create a multiple VRs here. Okay, that we will see in multi VR lab. Okay, so as of now, I'm going with the default. Okay, now it is giving me an option to choose the security zone. So here I'll be choosing, this is my LAN zone. Okay, so we have created 3 zones, right? So I have logged in. Let me log in. Okay. Okay, so we were doing the interface configuration. Zones are created or not? Yeah, zones are already there. Okay, so we were configuring the ETH 1 by 1 interface, right? So here you can give the command LAN connected port. Okay, anything LAN connected, whatever you want to give, you can give here, right? Then here you need to choose the interface type. Okay, here I'll choose the layer 3. Here this is the routing table. Okay, so I'll be choosing default routing table first of all. Then here we need to choose the security zone. So I want to put this in LAN zone. So I'll choose the LAN zone here, right? Then the IP address. Here you guys can see we have option to configure the IP address, right? So here you can give the IP address, whatever you have decided for. Let's say I have decided 10.11.100. So I'll give the 10.11.100 IP here. Okay. So now guys, here IPv6 and advanced settings. So here, if you will see here, we have a management profile available, right? So with the management profile, you can enable the services with your interfaces. Okay. So if you want to attach the management profile, then you need to come here. Then this way you can create the management profile, right? Profile, and you can allow whatever you want to allow with this interface. Let's say I want to allow the ping service with this interface. So I'll allow the ping service and I'll attach this profile with this interface, right? So this profile is attached with this interface only. So the ping will be enabled with this interface only. Okay. Similarly, if you want this ping to be enabled on the multiple or various interfaces, so you will have to attach the management profile with all the interfaces. Okay. So this is the way we can configure the interface. Okay, IP addressing is configured. We put the interface in a LAN zone. Okay, so similarly, we can configure the other interfaces as well. ETH 1 by 2 is our second interface. So I'll go to the ETH 1 by 2. Okay, so this is my DMZ, right? So I'll give one simple comment here. DMZ connect, right? This is just for your understanding. Okay, I'll choose the type as a layer 3. And here the virtual router. Gate. Okay, here the virtual router. Again, I'll go with the default routing table. And the security zone, which zone we need to put this interface? We want to put this interface in DMZ zone, right? So I'll put DMZ zone here. Okay. So I have not configured any management profile. So we will see the difference in these two interfaces, right? Then we have next interface available, that is our ETH 1 by 3, right? So this is my WAN interface, right? So I'll configure the WAN IP here. Okay.
Security zone no IP addresses sensor.
Sorry.
Security zone no IP addresses have been assigned.
No, zone is a grouping of your interfaces, right? So you need to assign the IP addressing in your interfaces. You can assign the interface into the zone. Okay. Got it?
Yeah, got it.
What happened? Okay, let me reload this. There is some issue I'm facing with. Let me try to log in again. I'm facing some issue with connecting to the rack. Guys, 1 second, let me check, okay? 1 second. Yeah, it is accessible now. Okay. Okay, so we were configuring the ETH 1/3, right? ETH 1/3, I'll give the comment here, internet link. Okay. Internet link or WAN interface, okay, whatever you want to give. And then I'll choose the type as a layer 3. Okay, then the virtual router, we'll put in default virtual router. Then the security zone, again, we will choose here the WAN zone, okay, WAN address zone. Then the IP addressing here, we can configure the IP address that we have decided 192.168.1.168.1.100, right? /24. Okay. And then in advance, if you want to attach the management profile, then you can attach, or else you can left it. Okay, so guys, this is the way we can configure the IP addressing in our interfaces of the Palo Alto Firewall. This is the way we can configure the zones, or we can assign the interfaces to the zones. Okay. Okay. So to apply the configurations, what I have done here, what I need to do, I need to commit the changes, right? So once I will click on commit button, so here you guys can see we have an option to preview the changes. So that we have already discussed in last session also. What is the meaning of the preview session? Here you can validate the settings that you have done, okay, whether those settings are correct or not. Okay, so here you guys can see we have a two type of settings. That is your running configuration it is showing, or the candidate configuration, right? So running configuration is your after commit configurations, means that those configurations were present before. Okay, and configure configuration, like candidate configuration, is the configuration that we have just modified and it is before the commit process. Okay, so here you guys can see we have a 3 symbols available, right? If you will add anything in your previous settings or previous configuration, that will be reflected in your candidate configuration as in a green symbol, right? Then we have a yellow type of this symbol that will show you the modify configuration, and then the red one is your deleted one. Okay, so this is the way you can modify the configurations, right? Like validate the configuration here. See, okay, so this is always a good practice to validate the configuration. Okay, once it is validated, then you can push the changes. Okay, commit the changes.
What is the difference between the added and
Added and modified, right? Added means
modified,
you
yeah.
have done something new. Okay, modified means that was
host name is added, right?
yes. But modified means
modified means within the interface you configure something, right? So that is modified.
That was already configured, but you have done some changes.
Okay.
Yeah. So here you guys can see commit is successfully done, right? So I can close it. Okay. So guys, so we have done with the configuration of the interfaces. We have configured the zones as well, right? Now I want to configure this LAN devices and the DMZ devices. Okay. So can anyone tell me like what are the settings we need to give in our Palo Alto firewall to connect it to the internet? What else we have to configure? We have configured the interfaces only, right? What else is required apart from the interfaces?
Netting.
What is required before net?
So we have to
default route.
Yeah, good.
So we have to create a VPN zone.
VPN zone?
Yeah.
Why?
For connecting to internet.
No, I told this is my public IP in my lab environment, right?
Okay.
So Considering this as a public IP, what are the configuration required to be done in the Palo Alto Firewall? Like few people's confirmed that we need to configure the routing, we need to configure the netting, right? That is correct. What else is required?
Sir, and the default route also.
Yeah, that it comes under the routing.
Yeah.
We also need security policy, right? So we will see how we can configure the security policy, how we can enable the internet. Okay. So till meanwhile the devices are coming up, let's configure the Palo Alto itself. Okay. So I'll go to the, first of all, let's define the default route. Okay. So how I can define the default route? I need to go to the virtual router here. Okay. In network tab and then in virtual router. Here we have a default virtual router available, right? So you can click on it. Okay. So here you guys can see all the interfaces are called in a default routing table, okay, that we have chosen inside the interfaces. So here we can see the default static routes available, okay. So from this, we can give the static default route, okay. So I'll click on add button. Okay, so name, any name you can give, like I am giving the default route DR, okay. How we can give the default route 000. It's any destination or any subnet mask, right? You need to forward the traffic towards the ETH 1/3, right? ETH 1/3 is my WAN interface, right? And what will be the next hop? So in my lab environment, my next hop is 1.1. Okay, 192.168.1.1. Okay, so guys, this is the way we can configure the default route. Okay, let's click on OK. Yeah, default route is configured with the metric value of 10. So I can click OK here. Yeah, so it is configured. Let me push the configuration first. From the task, you can review the changes. Okay, yeah, commit is in progress. Okay, let's go to the other devices. Okay. Configure terminal interface, gig, which interface we are using? 0/0, right? IP address, what we have decided, 111.55.255.255.0, no shit. Okay. Then we also need to define the default gateway, right? For this router, or you can consider it as a LAN machine. Okay. So I'll give one default route towards the LAN interface of the Palo Alto Firewall. Okay. What is the IP that we have configured in LAN interface of the Palo Alto? 10.1.1, right? So exit. So let's check show IP interface brief. Yeah, IP is configured. Show IP route. Yes, it is pointing towards the Palo Alto interface, right? So we have attached one management profile with this interface. So let's see whether we are able to ping the IP or not. Okay. Yeah, it's pingable. Okay. See, we are able to reach Palo Alto interface, right? So similarly, we can configure these systems also. Let me configure these also. EN configure terminal interface gig 0/0 IP address 20.1.1.255.255.255.0. Shit. Okay. And then exit. Then we need to give the gateway for this device. That will be a DMZ zone IP address of our Palo Alto Firewall, that is 20.1.100, right? Yeah. So exit. So we didn't like as any management profile with our DMZ interface, so we will not be able to ping the IP. See. Okay. So guys, is it clear? So whenever you want to enable any service with your Palo Alto Firewall interfaces, you will have to create your management profile, and then you will have to attach that management profile with your interfaces. Then only it will be pingable or SSH or HTTP, whatever you want to do. Okay. Is it clear, guys? Similarly, we can configure this device also, configure terminal interface, give 0 by 0. Okay. IP address 20.1.2. 255.255.255.0, no shut. Okay, IP route 00000, and then 20.1.100, right? Exit, show IP interface, brief, show IP interface, sorry. Yeah, it is configured, show IP route. Okay, so interface IP is configured, gateway is configured. Okay. So guys, we will be able to ping from this system to this system. Yes or no? Or this DMZ system to this system?
You have to put policy, right?
Sorry, your voice is not clear.
No, we have to put our policy, right? Not to communicate with others. So.
Yes, this communication will not be possible because we have by default 2 policies available with our Palo Alto Firewall. Those, let's discuss about those policies. If we will go to the policy and then the security policy, then you can see we have 2 default policies are created in our Palo Alto box. That is our intra-zone default and inter-zone default. Okay. So inter-zone means different zone. Okay. In different zone, if you will notice here, everything is denied. Okay. But in same zone, you will see the action as allow. Okay. Means if we have 2 systems that those are placed in a LAN zone, then they can communicate to each other with the intra-zone policy, right? But we have a 2 different system in different zones. They cannot communicate to each other because the inter-zone communication is blocked with this default policy. Okay. So these are the default policies available with your Palo Alto. Okay, so you cannot delete these. You can see when I'm selecting these policies, I'm not able to delete the policy or disable the policy. Okay, so you cannot delete the policy, disable the policy. These are the default policies available. So for making this communication available from LAN zone to DMZ zone, what we will have to define, because these are in inter-zone communication. This is an inter-zone communication. One device is in LAN zone, another device is in DMZ zone. We will have to give the security policy in our Palo Alto Firewall, right? So how we can create the policy? Let's see. Okay. So here you can configure the policies. Okay, so you need to come to the policy and then the security policy and then click on add button. Okay, then here you can give the name LAN to DMZ. Let's say I'm giving LAN to DMZ. Okay, then here we have several things available. If you want to give, then you can give the decryption, like this is for the communication between LAN and DMZ. Okay, this way you can give the decryption here, or you can mention your ticket number here, right? So this is always a good practice to mention the ticket number. Okay, so here we have an option to select the tags. So we will see later how we can attach the tags here. What is the significance of the tag? Okay, then we will go to the source. So here first option it is giving us as a source zone. So where the traffic will come from? So traffic will come from the LAN zone, right? Because my source is in LAN zone. So here I'll choose the zone as a LAN zone, right? And then here you can define the IP address, which subnet you want to allow as a source. Okay, so you want to allow any host, or you want to allow any specific host. So if you want to allow any specific host, then you can create a address object. Okay, let's say I want to give the access to only one system, that is 110.1.1.1. Okay, so this way I can create address object. Okay, no problem. I will remove the /32. Now it is taking. Okay, so here I'll define the IP address, that is 10.1.1.1. Okay, IP net mask you need to choose here, and then you can give the exact IP. For exact IP, you can give the /32 CIDR value, right? So here I can choose OK. So this way you can choose or create the addresses in your Palo Alto, right? Then we have a user. This we will see later. Okay, how to enable the user-based communication. Here we are trying to achieve the IP-based communication. So I'll ignore this as of now. So the destination zone. So which is our destination zone? Here we need to put the destination zone. So my destination zone is my DMZ zone. Okay. So for which so I want to give the access to. So suppose here I'm going with the any, means I want to enable the access to any of these servers. Okay, so I'll choose any. So here you can choose the applications or the services, whatever you want to define, you can choose here, right? Suppose I want to give the ICMP HTTPS. So accordingly, we can give the access. Okay, ping is not available. So in application, let's see what is available. Ping is available, right? So you can choose the application, whatever you want to assign here, right? So as of now, I'm not choosing anything. I'm going with the any, okay, that we will discuss later. Okay, so services also I'm going with any. So here we have an action tab. Here you need to choose the actions, allow, deny, drop, or reset server, reset both. Okay, whatever you want to choose, you can choose here. Okay, so I want to allow the communication, so I will go with the allow. Later on, we will discuss in detail what is the meaning of these options. Okay. So here I need to choose any. Application default. Okay. Means the default port will be used. Okay. So this is the way you can configure the IP addresses, the security policy in your Palo Alto firewall. Now to apply the changes, we need to commit the changes, right? So I'll click on commit button. You need to make sure you are committing the changes of yours only, not all the changes, all the administrators. Okay. So I'll go with the commit changes by me. Okay, so guys, commit is successfully applied to the Palo Alto firewall. Now let's try whether we are able to ping or not, right? Let's try to ping the 20.1.1.1. Okay, see, we are able to ping from LAN zone to DMZ zone, right? If I will show you the IP address here, so IP interface brief, you can see, oh, we are trying it with the same system. We need to test it from the LAN system, right? Show IP interface brief. Yeah, this is the 10 IP. Let's try to ping 21.1.1. It's not pinging. What is wrong?
Do you need to put a rule on other side? That's it. Hello.
Yeah.
Do you need to put a rule on other side also, or one end is enough?
Sorry, actually,
No.
other side what?
No. where we have put the rule? We have allowed both the side, right? I mean LAN side as
No,
well
no,
as
no, not both the side. I'm communicating from the LAN side, right? I'm initiating the traffic from LAN zone to DMZ zone, right?
okay.
So I
But
need to give.
you have not configured the IP address, right? That this IP or JP.
Yeah.
Oh, not here.
Do we need a reverse rule also?
Not like
No,
that.
no, no. We don't need the reverse rule.
No. When you configure the DMS zones, right? There you are not to put any IP address for DMS section.
Yeah, I have given the any, na. Any means all IP, right? I have
That
chosen
is
the
for
any.
a security policy. I'm talking about the zone. You have created a zone, right? The LAN side, DMS set, and as well as WAN side, right? The DMS side, you not put that IP address.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Na. Here, I have not chosen any IP address, but I'm giving it as a any. Any means I'm allowing the communication to all the systems. Okay.
Okay.
Let's see what is happening here. Let's try to check the logs, what is happening. So here we are not getting any logs, not an issue. I'll go to the system. Okay, we'll generate the traffic again. 2111. It's not working. So we got some logs. Let's see. This log is not coming in the firewall. Why? Okay, let's verify the configuration once again, whether we have given the
Yeah, you
correct
have put.
interface details. Okay, you
That's
guys
what
can
I'm
see.
asking. Yeah,
Okay,
that's what
okay,
I
this is
told.
what you were saying.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
we
what I
have
told.
not
Even
defined
you.
the IP address in the DMZ zone.
Yeah.
Okay, that is the reason it is not working. So here we need to give the IP address, right? That was left. And 121.100, right? /24.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have defined the IP address. Yeah, now we are good to go. Let's commit the changes. Now it should work, right? Let's see. This is our system. Tense. Yeah, we are able to reach, right? So guys, this is the way you can create the security policy. Okay. We have enabled the communication from the LAN zone to DMZ zone. Okay. So if I will show here, show IP interface brief. Yeah, this is a LAN system and we are able to reach to the 20s system, right? If I will show you the logs, then you can validate how the traffic is flowing through the firewall. Here, you guys can see if I will expand these logs, then you can see the traffic is coming from the source 10.1.1.1, right? So guys, this traffic is hitting the security policy that is LAN to DMZ that we have just created, right? And it is going from the source 10.1.1.1 and it is hitting the destination 20.1.1.1, right? And in the reverse flow, you can see. So in the Palo Alto firewall, you will always see the logs in two flows, okay? One will be your flow one, that will be your C to S flow, means client to server flow. And second one is your server to client, okay? That is your response one, okay? So here my original source is 10.1.1.1 and in the reverse, see like as to see, you can see our source and destination are just reversed. Okay. So this is the two type of flow available with your Palo Alto firewall logs, if you will see. Okay. So 10's IP is communicating with 20's IP And here you can see 20 is replying back to 10 network, right? And it is hitting the security policy LAN to DMZ. Or we can also check the hits on our security policy. So I'll go to the policy and then the security. Here you guys can see the hits also. See, 40 hits are received on this security policy. Okay. So this is the way we can configure the security policy in our Palo Alto firewall. So anyone have any query in this till now what we have discussed?
No, one second. Can you open that policy? LAN to DMZ. So you can read
Yeah,
one more.
sure. You can open it.
Source, okay. Only one host we have allowed. Okay. Destination, okay.
Mhm.
That's it, right? Application we have allowed only thing, right?
No, I have allowed anything.
Any, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you want to,
action item, what you put?
if you want to allow any specific, then you can go with the specific signatures
Yeah.
also, right? That we will discuss later.
Okay.
Okay. As of now, I'm going with the any policy.
Oh, got it.
Okay.
Okay.
So this is the
one
way
more-
you can create.
One more thing, whether you will discuss later or now. What is a rule type on the first page?
A rule type, okay?
Yeah.
Because we have
universal,
Yeah.
right? What is it?
See, we have a different rule types available. That is universal is your default, whatever you will be creating here, right? That is your, and the interzone and intrazone, you can put the policies here, right? Interzone means your different zones, okay? And intrazone means your same zone.
So in this case, LAN to DMZ, I can put interzone, right?
You can also put interzone, yeah.
Okay.
You can put interzone. That is not an issue. You can,
universal means it will combine
universal
both.
means applicable with both. Yeah, you can.
Both.
It will be decided based on your given information, whatever you will be giving here, right? You want to give you want to go from LAN to DMZ or LAN to LAN. Okay, means that is in your control. You want to go with the interzone or intrazone. Okay,
But I already have control between source and destination zones, right? Why do we need this rule type here?
These are the rule types available with the Palo Alto. Okay, if you do not want to choose the zones, okay, then you can go with the intrazone. If you have a same zone policy, if you need to create, then you can go with the same zone policy for intrazone. If you have a different zone policy if you want to create different zone policy, then you can go with the interzone also. Else you can go with the.
But the intrazone doesn't need any security policy, right?
Yeah, doesn't need any security policy.
Then why this rule is there?
In some cases, we have to create. I'll show you in tap mode of deployment. Okay.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah, that we will discuss. Okay. So is this clear up to this? This is the simple configuration we have done today, right? So guys, now our second task is to enable the internet communication for this LAN network and then this DMZ network. So how we can do this? So as of now, we have given the default route towards the internet gateway, if you remember, right? If I'll show you, you can go to the network and then virtual router. Inside your virtual router, not vWire, in virtual routers, inside virtual router, default, right? We have already configured the default route, okay? So default route is already configured here. What else we need? We need to perform the netting for this IP to go to the internet also, right? So let's do the simple netting here. Then we will discuss the netting in very detailed manner in dedicated net session. Okay. So similarly here you can put the net policy. Net 1, let's say I'm giving the net 1. Okay. Then here we have a original packet and the translated packet. Okay. So my original packet will come from LAN zone, right? And the destination zone will be the WAN zone, right? So anyone is coming from the LAN zone, I want to translate it to, okay? And any WAN zone. So the translated packet, I want to translate type, I will go with the PAT, okay? That is the dynamic IP and port here. We will discuss these options. Don't worry if you are not getting this as of now. So either I can go with the translated address or I can choose the IP address. So I can go with the interface IP. So I'll choose the interface IP for the performing the port address translation. Okay. And then we also need a security policy, right? For LAN to WAN zone. We have not created any security policy for LAN to WAN. We have created LAN to DMZ, right? So let's create one policy. I'll give it as a internet policy. Okay. Name as a internet policy, right?
Sir, can you get this our class recorded, sir?
Yeah, this class is being recorded.
Actually, we need like a class of our regular, like we can doing the class, right? So we need this kind of class, not like record of other classes.
Sorry, I'm not getting you. You want the
No,
recording?
yeah, I want the record of this session, not like other other.
Yeah, you can get the recording. All sessions will be recorded. Okay, you will get all the recordings from your training coordinator. Okay. So I can choose here. I can select here as a LAN zone, and this time I want to allow netting for the all the entire LAN subnet. So I'll go with the any. So user, I will not choose anything. Destination zone is my WAN zone, right? And here any. Okay, because the traffic is for the internet, we don't know where it will go. Okay, so if you want to give the any specific destination, then you can also give the specific destination over here, or you can allow it to be based on the application, then you can based on application on the services. So as of now, I'm going with the any just for the lab testing. Okay, so this is the way we can create the policy. Okay, now to apply the changes, I will have to commit the changes. Okay. So before committing, let's see whether we are able to reach to the global DNS or not. Okay, this is my LAN system. I'll try to ping 8.8.8.8. So guys, I'm not able to reach because we do not have the policy in place. Okay, so I'll click on the commit button. Okay, our commit is in progress. Okay, changes are already successfully pushed to the firewall. Let's try to ping again the global DNS. Are we able to reach? Yeah. See guys, we are able to reach to the global DNS. Okay. If I'll show you the logs, then you can validate the traffic, how it is passing through the firewall. Okay. So I'll go to the monitor and then the session browser. Let me generate the traffic again. Okay. Okay. See guys, this time traffic is, let me take a snap. So this time you can see the traffic is coming from the LAN zone. Okay. And it is going to the WAN zone. Okay. And the traffic is coming from the IP address 10.1.1.1 and it is hitting the destination 8.8.8.8. And here you guys can see in the reverse flow, the destination is the netted IP, right? That is 192.168.1.100. Okay, because whenever our internal traffic is going to the internet, okay, so what we have defined in our firewall, every internal resources should get translated with the WAN interface IP. Okay, so the original source is now get it translated with the IP of the interface, outside interface of the firewall. That is the IP, that is the 192.168.1.100 IP address, right? So whenever the 8.8.8 server will reply back, so in response packet, it will reply back to the 1.100 IP, right? So that is the reason here we are able to see the netted IP. Okay. One more thing here, you guys can see in the net translation, it is showing you the net rule, sorry. In the net rule, you guys can see it is hitting the net rule 1, right? That we have just created. And here the security policy, it is showing the internet policy it is hitting. Okay. So this is the way you can enable like communication from one zone to another zone, or you can deploy the firewall in a layer 3 mode. Okay. And you can control the traffic based on the security policy, right? So anyone have any query, any doubt in this? If you didn't understand the netting concept here, so we have a dedicated session for the net. There we will discuss. You can ignore it for now.
Can
Okay.
you please go to that NAT rule?
NAT rule.
Yeah.
Okay. Policy. I will have to take the access again. Yeah, in NAT rule.
Yeah. Just I want to view that. Just open it, the rule.
So it is a simple configuration, okay? Original packet, here you need to put the original packet informations, and then the translated packet, you need to give the translated informations. Okay, don't worry about it. We have a dedicated NAT session where there we will discuss in brief, in detailed manner, what is source NAT, what is destination NAT, okay? How the different nets can be configured with your Palo Alto Firewall. This is just an example, okay? Okay. So guys, similarly, you have seen we have created one object that is 10.1.1.1, one host. Okay. Similarly, if you want to create multiple objects, so how you can create that to like use those objects with your security policy, right? So you need to come to the object. Here we can also see that object that we have just created, right? 10.1.1.1. Okay. Here in object tab, you can go to the addresses. Okay. So here in addresses, you guys can see we have created one object here, right? We have created it with the security policy. It is reflecting here also. So you can create here also, and you can get it attached with your security policy, right? So let's say I want to give the LAN subnet here. So how I can give it? LAN. This way I can give, right? I can create the object LAN subnet. Subnet, let's say. So what is the IP in my LAN? 10.8 10.11.0/24, right? This is my LAN subnet. Okay, so it is not taking the dash, I think. LAN subnet. Okay, so this way we can create the objects. Okay, see, the LAN subnet is created. Okay, and similarly, suppose we have a very wide network here. Okay, and you have a multiple subnets available, so you can create the multiple subnets also, like LAN subnet 2. Okay, suppose I have a second subnet available here, 10.11.1.1.0/24, right? So this way we can create our LAN subnets. Okay, multiple LAN subnets you can create, and the benefit of this creating the LAN object, you can attach it with your security policy, with your NAT policy. Okay, LAN subnet Or suppose if you have a different type, like you can choose it as a IP range also. You can choose it as a wildcard also, right? We giving the net mask, okay? Or if you want to create an object for FQDN, then you can also choose as a FQDN, right?
After that, we can add this LAN subnet into group, right? Suppose if I have a
Yes, you can group them. Suppose you have created all these things and you want to group them. So you can come to the network, address groups. And in address groups, you can create new and you can bind it, okay?
yeah,
You can give a name like this, all LAN subnets, okay? All LAN subnets, okay? And here you can add these, right? Add these subnets, okay? This way,
yeah,
right? Now, what is the advantage of using this? See, this way you can attach, you can group your LAN subnets, right? So advantage of using these groups or these address objects, you can create, you can attach these groups or these addresses with your firewall policy, security policy, or the net policy. Okay, let's say I come here, I want to go to the internet. Okay,
but this is chilly doubt only. So, suppose in Panorama, this will be suppose if you are pushing the policy from Panorama, it is the same like right or how? That's what
sorry,
because I
Rajesh,
we
your
have
voice, I'm getting background noise from your side.
no. I'm asking. We are doing on the devices, right? Suppose if you are doing the changes from the Panorama, so that will because I don't have any knowledge of firewall. This is the first time I'm studying the firewall. Suppose if you are
Panorama,
doing
you have templates available, right? In templates or the device group, you can create the objects.
I have knowledge on SDWAN, so we have a
No worries. No worries. We will discuss it. Okay. Just go with the.
because if we get some basics knowledge about the panorama, right? So it will be good to
Not an
just
issue.
now.
We will discuss. Then I will tell you about the panorama. Okay. As of now,
Yeah,
just see whatever I'm
yeah.
showing you. Okay. Just follow the step by step. Okay. Okay. So guys, this is the way we can attach our LAN subnets here. Okay. Let's say I want to go with the all LAN subnets. So I can attach the all LAN subnets here. Okay. Now we were discussing about the benefits. Suppose in later we got one more subnet added in our environment. Okay. And then we have suppose multiple policies configured here. So instead of calling the new subnet in all the security policies, what you can do, you can come here to the object tab and you can go to the LAN subnets and you can add that subnet in this group. Okay. Then wherever this LAN subnet, all LAN subnet group is called, that will be applicable, right? So this will be a simpler way or the best way to manage your firewall, right? Getting guys what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's try to commit the changes. Okay, commit is successfully applied. So guys, here you guys can see we have created a policy based on the object group. Okay, so I was telling if we have a multiple policies available here, right? We have hundreds of policies available, and we in our production environment we got one more subnet that needs to be allowed. So instead of creating that hundreds of policies, what how you can utilize your object group? You just need to go to the address objects and the object you can create one more address, okay, for that new subnet, and then you can add it. Okay, let's say I'm creating one more new subnet. new subnet here, right? That is my 11, and then let's say 12 is added in my environment, right? 12.1.1.0/24. Okay, so I can create this way new subnet here. Okay, and I can put this in this group if I want to apply the same settings as my other LAN subnets is having. So I can put this newly created object, sorry, in this address group. Okay, so I can apply it here. So if I will put it now, then you can see it is automatically reflected to your policy also, because this address group is a part of our policy, right? So we do not need to define any extra or other policy. Okay, and this is a part of our security policy. So here you can verify these are the addresses called with this. Okay, we will browse, then you can see this is added, right? New LAN subnet. Okay, so this is the advantage of creating your security policy with your address groups. Okay, so guys, is it clear or any confusion in this, any doubt?
This is fine, sir.
Good to go, right?
Yeah.
Then guys, we have a similarly we have a app services available, right? Suppose if you want to allow any specific port or any customized port, so you can create a service object as well, right? Like I want to create TCP 8080. TCP, I want to allow the TCP 8080 communication. So TCP 8080 is a non-standard port. So you will not get this port available in a default ports available with your Palo Alto. So what you will have to do, you will have to create it, customize object. Okay. So this way you can create, you need to go to the service and then object. Okay. Then TCP here, I can choose the destination port as a 8080. Okay. Simple. Nothing else you need to choose here. This way. Okay. Similarly, if you want to create a UDP port, then you can create a, because in your production environment, you will always get a queries or to get a changes to perform on a non-default port as well, right? Like 643. Okay. So here you need to choose the protocol as a 643 and the destination port will be 643, just for an example. Okay. So this way you can create the service objects, and if you want to allow it with your security policy, then you need to go to the security policy here, and then in the service tab you can choose, or you will find those objects that we have created, right? 8080 and UDP 443. As of now we have allowed all. So if you want to go with the 8080 LAN to DMZ, suppose your DMZ server is running on 8080 port, so this way you can call it with security policy, right? Now the port number 8080 will be allowed from LAN to DMZ. Okay, similarly, we have a service group as well. You can group the services if you want to create a same policies for them, right? Like I want to give a DMZ server port. Okay, you can give it like this. Suppose my servers are running on the same ports. Okay, DMZ server port, I can give the name as. Okay, and I can bind the ports here, right? Whatever the port I want to give here, right? This way. And then this service group I can call with my security policy, right? LAN to DMZ. Here in the security services, I will remove this, and this time I can choose the service group. You can see at the bottom, we are getting the service group name that we have just given, DMZ server port. Okay. This way we can create the policies or the address objects. Again, the advantage with the address object group is if you have a multiple policies available here and you got one more port to be allowed for all those policies, so you do not need to add it one by one. You can add that port in your group, okay, service group, and wherever that group is called, that will be applicable to those security policies. Okay, so in industries we always prefer to create a service objects and groups, okay, address objects and address groups. Is this clear, guys? Similarly, here we can give the tags also. Okay, how we can create the tags? You need to come to the objects and then tags here. Suppose I want to give a tag for my LAN zone, my DMZ zone, and my WAN zone. Okay, I want to give a color coding. So here I can choose it. Okay, so I'll choose my LAN zone. So LAN is my trust zone. So I'll choose, let's say, green here, right? So I can choose forest green. Okay. Similarly, for the WAN zone, WAN is my untrust zone. So I'll choose the red here or maroon, whatever you want to choose. Okay. And then in DMZ zone, I want to give the yellow color. Okay. So I have attached these colors or tags with my zones. So after committing, I will be able to see this in my security policy. Okay. So guys, समझ में आ रहा है? कोई किसी को कुछ परेशानी है? Guys, you guys are understanding, right? Boka, any confusion? Okay. If I'll go to the security policy, then I'll be able to see the color codings with my zones. See, this is a more like you will get a better visibility. Let me access it again. It is not opening in a proper manner. Yes, Pratik. What
Sir,
is your query?
like you were telling us subnets and all. Sir, are there any limitations like how many subnets we can create?
Yes, that is dedicated to your box. Okay, whatever memory you have, that much of addresses you can create.
So, sir, means that depends on the Palo Alto firewall. That means.
Right, that depends on the box capabilities.
Okay.
You can go through the sheet. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, that is limited. No, you cannot create unlimited, right?
Okay.
So I don't know why it is not. Okay, if I'll close it, why it is opening like this, I'm not sure. Let's try it with the incognito window. But the thing what I'm trying to tell here is my security policy is now showing in more precise way, right? If you will see here, it is showing the tags with our zones, right? Similarly, you can attach the multiple tags with your multiple security policies. Okay, that will give you a more like flexible way. Like here with the red, you can identify this is a danger zone, right? Red is used for the danger, so it is a WAN and trust. Okay, so LAN is a secure, so I put it as a green. So this way you can attach with your security policy, like you can create the tags or your policy will look like better visibility you will get with your policies or the configuration, right? See, in the LAN, in the security policy as well, I can see the tags value, right? So guys, any confusion, any doubt in this? We have seen what is the layer 3 deployment, how to configure the IP addressing in our Palo Alto firewall in layer 3 mode. Okay, how to enable the internet in the layer 3. LAN zone, how to enable the communication from the LAN to WAN zone that we have discussed. Anyone have any query in this? Or we can go with the next. Guys, any query? We are good to go. Okay, so guys, we have a next mode of deployment, that is our layer 2 mode of deployment. Okay. Let's see how to configure the Palo Alto in a layer 2 mode. So I'll go to the next lab here. Okay, so here I'll remove the configurations from the boxes. Let me wipe out the configurations. Okay, now let me turn on the devices. Okay, so guys, as we have discussed in layer 2 mode, what we will have to do, our firewall port will behave like a switch port, right? So let's see how to configure it. Okay, we'll remove this. Okay, keep it aside as of now. VLANs we are not discussing as of now. We will create it. Okay, so guys, till the time our firewall is booting, let's configure the end devices first. Okay. Okay, I'll come to this machine. It is also booting up. Let it come up. And I'll come to this system also. Okay, my management system is up. Palo Alto is still booting. Yeah, I'm not getting the access. It's also booting up. Okay. I go with the no. VRS6 is my this system. Okay. This. So we will assign 10.11 to here. Okay. And then we have a VIS4 and then Palo Alto management system. Okay, let's verify the IP addressing in my management system first. CMD IP config. So my management IP is in the range of 170 to 16. Okay, I'll assign the same range of IP in the management port also, right? So first of all, let's configure these devices. Then Palo Alto will be ready. Once Palo Alto is ready, then we will configure the Palo Alto as well, right? In layer 2 mode. So guys, in this topology, what I will do, I will put these two interfaces in a layer 2 mode. That is my ETH 1 by 2 and ETH 1 by 1, right? So this is gonna be our topology. So here, this port I will be putting in layer 2, and this port also I will be putting in layer 2. Okay. Then I will create a logical grouping of these two ports. Okay. Then we will see whether these two systems are communicating or not. Okay. Because in same VLAN communication is allowed, right? So that we will gonna test here. So I'm in VIOS 6. VIOS 6 is this system. Okay. EM configure terminal interface gig 0 by 0. IP address is my 10.1.1.2.255.255.0. No shared. Okay. Exit. And then here enable configure terminal interface gig 0 by 0. IP address 10.1.1.255.255.255.0. Okay, no shit. Exit. So my LAN devices are configured. Let me try by logging into the firewall, whether it's ready or not. Okay, it's still not ready. Once it is ready, so it will allow us to log into the device. Okay, after turning it on, it takes some time to ready. Okay, so admin. No, it's still not ready. Okay. Let me try. Yeah, it's logged in. So new password, I'll give him the same password, admin at 123, admin at 123. Okay. Now my password is changed. I'll assign the management IP, right? Configure mode, I'll go set device config system type static. Okay. Set device config system IP address. This is the command to give the IP address to your IP management port, right? So what IP we need to define here? I will define 172 range of IP 16.1.101. What was the IP in our management system? 101. So I'll assign 100 here. Okay. 100. Then the net mask. Okay. That is my 255.255.255.0. And then I need to commit the changes, right? To apply the changes. So commit is queued. Let me try commit force. Okay, commit is in progress. Let's open the browser at the time. Commit is still in progress. Why it is taking time? Some time. Okay, guys, so commit is successful. Now let's try whether we are able to access the firewall or not. Firewall IP is not pinging. Is the reason server error. Commit failed. Okay, commit is failed. That is the reason. Yeah, now commit will be applied. 98%. Yeah, now we are getting the ping response from our management IP. Now let's try to access the firewall with the management IP. Yes, we are getting the login page of the firewall. Right, I will quickly log into the firewall with the new credential. Okay. No, it is not allowing me to enter. So what I did, I given the old password. Okay, sometime due to the bug, it doesn't take the new password that we have given through the CLI. Okay, so I have given the old password. Now it is again giving me the prompt to change the password. Okay. So I used the same password. Old password is admin. New password is admin at 123. Admin at 123. Okay. Now the password is changed. Let's try to log in with the new password. Okay, now we are able to log in to the Palo Alto box. So here we need to put these two ports in the layer 2. Okay, and we will be creating one zone for the layer 2. And this interface I'll be putting in layer 3, and then we will do the testing how these devices will communicate in the LAN in the layer 2 mode, and how we can enable the internet. That all we see. Okay, so very first task is to come to the network tab, and in network tab we can create the zones, right? So first of all, I'll create the L2 zone. Okay, in this zone, I'll be putting these two interfaces, that is ETH 1 by 1 and ETH 1 by 2, right? And this time I'll be choosing here as a layer 2 zone. Okay, type as a layer 2. Okay, so now I'll come to the interfaces. In interfaces, we have a ETH 1 by 1 and ETH 1 by 2. So I'll go to the ETH 1 by 2, 1 by 1, sorry. In 1 by 1, I'll choose the type as a layer 2, right? So as soon as once I will choose the interface type as a layer 2, so here you guys can see IP addressing configuration has been removed from here, right? So you cannot configure the IP addressing with the layer 2 interface, right? So here you need to give the VLAN ID, which VLAN you want to assign it to. Let's say I want to assign it to the VLAN number 10. Okay, so I can give the VLAN ID here, right? Then the security zone, it is the zone we have created, that is my L2 zone. Okay, so I'll put it in L2 zone. Similarly, I have a second interface that is ETH 1 by 2. So I'll go to the ETH 1 by 2. I'll choose this interface type as a layer 2. Okay, and I'll put it in the same VLAN, let's say, to check the functionality. That is my VLAN ID 10. And I will assign it to the same zone, that is LAN 2 zone, right? So we do not have, no more have options to configure the IP addressing here or to test the management profiles, right? So I'll go with the OK. Okay, so guys, if I will go with the commit. So can anyone tell me whether this system will be able to communicate with the system or not? Here we need to give one more setting. So you need to come to the VLAN. You need to check whether the interfaces are in the VLANs or not.
That intrazone we have to have, right? Intrazone.
Why intrazone?
It's the same VLAN. It should be in an intrazone, right? Like go to the VLAN.
Yeah, we have given these two interfaces. We have put in L2 zone. If you have noticed, okay, means these are in a intrazone. So intrazone communication will be allowed with the default policy, right?
Yeah. Then it will allow.
Okay, so here you will see in the VLAN, we have a VLAN 10 created, and in this VLAN 10, we have a logical grouping of these two interfaces, that is ETH 1 by 1 and ETH 1 by 2, right? These two are part of the VLAN 10, right? So I'll go with the commit. So can anyone tell me with this, with this set of settings, this system can be able to ping this system, or we need to do something else?
Need to allow ping.
No. These two ports are in same zone, right? We have put these two interfaces in L2 zone. If you have noticed while configuring the interfaces here, if I will show you the zone here, so these two interfaces are part of my L2 zone. So these are the part of same zone, and these are the layer 2 ports, and these are the part of same VLAN also, right? This is called a logical grouping of your interfaces. Okay. So here we are defining these two interfaces are in L2 mode. Okay. So with this set of settings, let's see whether this machine is communicating with this machine or not. Okay. If I'll go to the commit here, yeah, commit is successfully done. Okay. Now let's go to the BIS4 here. So EN show IP interface Brave. Okay. So if you will see here, it is having an IP address of 10.1.1. And if I will go to this system, EN show IP interface brief, and it is having an IP address of 10.1.1.2. Let's try to ping 10.1.1.2. 10.1.1, sorry, 10.1.1.2. Yes, it's working. Okay. So this is called your layer 2 deployment of Palo Alto Firewall. Okay. What we have done here, we have configured these two interfaces in layer 2 mode, right? And we have given these two interfaces in one zone, that is a layer 2 zone. Okay. And since these two interfaces are part of same zone, so we do not need any policy in our firewall. You can verify the logs in the firewall. It should go through the interzone default policy, right? Not interzone, intrazone. It is the same zone, right? I'll go to the monitor section here. And I'll go to the session browser. I'll again generate the traffic. Okay. So let's see. Okay, if I'll expand this, so let me take a snap. So here you guys can see traffic is being generated by the 10111 and it is hitting the destination 10112. And in reverse flow, a reply is coming from 10112 and it is going to 10111. Okay. And the source is a part of L2 zone and destination is also a part of L2 zone. That is the reason it is hitting the intra-zone default policy and the traffic is getting allowed. Okay.
Even if it is a different subnet also, it will communicate, right?
In different subnet also, yeah. If you have a same zone.
Okay.
Okay. That here we have a concept of zones. So you need to take care of the zones. If you put in these two interfaces in different zones, let's say here I'm putting the L2 trust and here I'm putting the L2 DMZ, then you need to create the security policy to allow the communication from your L2 trust to L2 DMZ zone. Then only the communication will be allowed. Now let's check the firewall. If I'll go to the firewall and I'll exit this configuration mode, I'll show you the MAC address table. So MAC address show MAC all. So here you guys can see we are here, our firewall is maintaining a MAC address table, right? And it is learning some MACs, okay? That is from the VLAN 10 that we have put. We have given these two interfaces, ETH 1 by 1 and ETH 1 by 2 in the VLAN 10. So it is receiving the MAC addresses from the VLAN 10 for these interfaces, and it is performing the switching between these two. Okay, these two interfaces are working as a switch, so these two hosts can communicate with each other. Okay, guys, is it clear to everyone? Anyone, any query, or we can go further? Bokai, Akash, Hemant, Naveen, Nipun.
No, sir, there is no
Rajesh. We are good to go, right? So our next task, okay? Next task is to create a VLANs and to allow the multi-VLAN communication. Okay. So what I will do, I will create two VLANs here. Okay. I'll put this interface in VLAN 10 and I'll put this interface in VLAN 20. Okay. And then we will see how we can enable the communication. Now, in this scenario, suppose we want to enable the communication, or we want to transfer, like forward this current traffic to the internet. So how we can do this? Because these two interfaces are in layer 2 mode, right? So I want to, let's forget this first of all, VLAN 10 and 20. Okay. Now my next task is to forward this 10 subnets traffic to the internet. So how we can do this? So for doing this, first of all, you need to configure the default route and the netting in your Palo Alto firewall, right? And then you will have to give the security policy. So if you have noticed, so in Palo Alto, we have configured these two interfaces in layer 2, right? That is in your L2. And we will put this interface in L3 mode, okay? Because we will be assigning the IP addressing here. So while creating the security policy, you can never create a policy using two different types, okay? That is your L2 and your L3, okay? One interface is in your L2 and another one is in your L3. So this way you cannot create the security policy. So you will have to create one virtual gateway for these 10 subnet, right? That will be acting as a layer 3 gateway, okay? This is the same case like we do the inter-VLAN routing and all that in case of CCNA, right? If you have learned about the CCNA, in switch we have two VLANs created and then we have a router here. So with the router, you cannot, like without having the layer 3 device here, you cannot forward these VLANs traffic to the internet, okay? Because you need to give the gateway to your end devices, okay? That gateway will be your layer 3 device IP address, okay? Because in your layer 2, you cannot give the IP addressing, okay? So similarly here, what we will have to do, we will have to create one logical layer 3 gateway for this 10 subnet, okay? And then we will be able to forward this traffic to the internet, okay? Because that time security policy will be created between these interfaces, okay? This is the layer 3 logical interface and this WAN interface, okay? So let's try this. First of all, I'll go to the network and then the interfaces. Okay. And in interfaces, first of all, I need to configure my WAN interface, that is ETH 1x3. So I'll configure it as a layer 3 mode, right? I'll choose it as a default routing and I'll give it as a WAN and trust zone, right? So I'll create. So this way you can also create a zone, okay? WAN zone, okay? This time it will be a layer 3. Okay. Then the IP address, what we have decided to put here, 192.168.1.200/24, right? Then if you want to attach the management profile, then you can attach. I'm leaving it as it is. Okay, I'm good with this interface configuration. Now I will go to the logical interface creation. How I can go to the logical, how I can create the logical interface? First of all, I will create one zone, okay? That is my layer 3 trust zone. L2 zone I have created, that is my L2 trust zone, okay? Now I am creating L3 trust, okay? Now, here I need to assign the logical interface. So let me try, okay. I can go to the interface here, okay? VLAN. So you need to come to the interface and then VLAN, okay? Here you can create your logical interface or logical gateway. So here it is asking you the tag. So I want to forward that VLAN 10's traffic, okay? I want to create a gateway for VLAN 10, okay? So here you need to assign the VLAN ID. So this will be a part of VLAN 10, okay? It will carry the traffic of VLAN 10. So virtual router, it will be a default routing table. Okay, now the security zone that we have just created, which was that zone, L3 trust zone, okay? Because we need a L3 zone for forwarding the traffic, okay? Because my WAN port is in L3 mode, right? So I'll choose the WAN L3 trust zone here. Now here I can give the IP address. Here you guys can see, right? So here I will assign one IP of the 10th range, and this will be the gateway for my end devices, okay? /24. Okay, now I will attach one management profile here. I'll go to the management profile, MGMT, let's say. I will allow the ping here. I'll go with the okay. Okay, this way you can create a logical interface in your Palo Alto, right? This will be treating as a gateway for these devices, okay? Because these two ports are in a layer 2 port, right? In a layer 2 mode. Okay. Now what else we need? We need to configure the static default route similarly as we have configured in our last layer 3 deployment. So you need to come to the network and then the virtual routers. Inside your virtual router, you will find a default virtual router. Okay, then you need to go to the static route. Then you can go with the add button. And here you need to define one static default route 0000 and /0, right? This is the way we put the default route. I want to forward this traffic towards the ETH 1/3, that is my WAN port. Okay, next hop, I want to go with the IP address. So my next hop, I have already told you that is 1.1. I'm good with the configuration now. Okay, now what else we need? We need to go to the policy. We will have to give the security policy, right? So I will give internet policy, name as internet policy. Okay. Then the source zone, where here you guys can see we are getting all the zones, L2 zone, L3 trust and WAN. So WAN is my L3 zone and L3 trust is a logical zone that we have created for this L2 zone. Okay. Here, if I will choose L2 and then in destination, I will choose WAN, then it will not gonna work. Okay. So here I will have to choose L3 trust zone. So here you can define the IP address. So as of now, I'm going with the any since it is a lab testing only. So user, I do not want to go with a user. So in destination, I will choose WAN and trust. So this is also a layer 3, so it will not create an issue. So destination also any, service any, application any, service any, okay. So yeah, we are done with the policy configuration. Now we also need a NAT configuration, okay, because our private IPs will go to the internet, right? So let's configure one NAT policy also. You can ignore this. We will discuss these NAT policies in very detailed manner in upcoming sessions, okay? So here you need to choose the zone, layer 3 zone, okay? Destination will be the WAN zone. Any source, any destination, you need to translate it to the port interface, okay? UTH 1/3 and the IP address is 1.100. Okay, now let's commit the changes and let's see whether
Hi.
the machine are able to
Hi. Hi, Vishal. Hello.
Yeah, hi.
Hey, if the internet internet connection is
Yes, tell
DHCP,
me.
if it is internet connection is a DHCP, so in that case, I cannot use the IP, right? So I can always point to interface, whatever the NAT on the default route situation.
Yeah, actually, your voice is cracking in between.
Okay. No,
Sorry.
Can you hear me now? One second.
Okay, guys, sorry, I was lost. Something. Guys, you can hear me, right? Hello, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Okay. Someone is asking something, right?
Yes, Mr. Suresh, I think.
Suresh, what was your question? I didn't get you. Actually, I got a network flap. Okay, no worries. We will take your query afterward. Okay, after this. Okay, so guys, we have created the security policy. We have created the net policy also. Okay, now let's see whether our machines are communicating with the internet or not. Okay, I'll go to this system. Okay, so if you will see here, my IP address is already configured, but I have not configured any gateway with this system before. So I will configure the gateway here, configure terminal IP route 000 000. Now, what will be the gateway for this device, LAN device? The logical interface that we have created in Palo Alto, right? That is 10.1.100. Okay.
Hey, I just joined back.
Yeah, we lost you. So I'll take your query after this. Okay, don't worry.
Yeah.
Okay, let me try to ping the logical gateway first, whether we are able to reach or not. Yeah, see, it is pinging. Okay. My 10.1.100 is pinging. Now let me try to the pinging the global DNS, whether we are able to go. Yeah, see guys. So this way you can enable the communication from your layer 2 zone to the internet. Okay, you can enable the internet. So now Suresh, what was your query?
No, if it is my internet link is DHCP, not the static, then in that case, I need to use the interface itself, right? For the default gate.
Yes.
For the default gateway as well as the NAT.
Yes, exactly. If you have a DHCP, if you have a DHCP enabled for your WAN interface, what you can define in your interface, you can define it will take the IP address from the DHCP server. Okay, so it will take the dynamic IP from the DHCP and it will get the default gateway as well, right?
So in that case, I no need to specify any IP addresses. Instead, I can use only the interface.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, right. So guys, is it clear? So here you guys can see we are able to reach to the internet. If I'll show you the logs in the firewall, then you can see the logs where the traffic is coming from. And let me hit the destination again to generate some traffic. Okay. So guys, here you guys can see traffic is coming from 10.1.1, right? And it is coming from the L3 trust zone, the logical interface or the logical gateway that we have created in the Palo Alto, right? And it is going to 8.8.8.8. And in the reverse direction, you can see traffic is forwarding to the 1.200, 192.168.1.200. That is my WAN interface IP, right? So guys, any doubt, any confusion in this? It is hitting the internet policy, if you will see here, right? That we have just created. NAT rule, it is hitting that we have created. Okay, so this is the way you can deploy your firewall in a layer 2 mode, or you can enable the internet for your layer 2 mode, having a logical interface created or logical gateway. Okay. Any doubt? Guys, come on, speak up. We are good to go, or any doubt?
It's fine for me, sir.
Okay. Now let's do one more changes. Let's see some of more concepts. Okay. Now I'll create two VLANs here, right? I'll give. Now we will see the sub interface concept with our Palo Alto Firewall. Okay. Sub interface creation or concept. Okay. So what here we will do. So I'll be creating two VLANs here. Okay, I'll put this ETE gigabit 0 by 1 in VLAN 10 and gigabit 0 by 2 in VLAN 20. Okay, then we will be creating a sub interface for these two VLANs in my Palo Alto Firewall to forward the traffic to the internet. Okay, because this is my layer 2 device, right? This switch is my layer 2 device. So I will have to configure this port between the switch and the Palo Alto as a trunk port so that it can carry both the VLAN traffic. Okay, so I will have to create the gateway for this VLAN 20 also. So for creating that VLAN, we can create a sub interface here, right? Now let's see we can do this. Okay, now first of all, I'll go to the switch, en configure terminal. Okay, so everyone knows how to create the VLAN. Let's say VLAN 10. Okay, the name is IT. Okay, exit VLAN 20. Okay, name is, let's say HR. Okay, exit. Okay, interface gig 0x0. First port is gig 0x0 is my VLAN 20. Okay, so switch port mode access, switch port access VLAN 20. Okay, this will be a part of VLAN 20. Exit interface gig 0x1. So 0x1 I'll be putting in VLAN 10. Okay, so switch port mode access, switch port access VLAN 10. Okay, exit. Now I have one more interface, that is ETA gig 0x0. Okay, I think we have given the wrong interface here, right? Do show VLAN brief. Okay, if I'll run this command, so gig 0x0 is a part of VLAN 20, gig 0x2. Okay, 0x0 we need to make it as a trunk. Okay, 0x2 we need to configure it as a VLAN 20. Okay, 0x2, no problem. I'll go to the gig 0x2. Sorry, I'll run the same command, switch port mode access, switch port access VLAN 20, exit interface gig. In which port we have done the wrong configuration? 0x0, right? 0x0. No, switch port mode access. No, switch port. Switch port access VLAN 20. Okay, exit. So for VLAN gig 0x0, I will put it as a trunk because it will get use the multiple VLAN traffic, right? So switch port interface gig 0x0, switch port trunk encapsulation .1q, switch port mode trunk. Okay, exit. Okay, now let's verify the configuration in the switch. Do show VLAN brief. Yeah, gig 0x1 is a part of VLAN 10, 0x2, 0x1 VLAN 10, 0x2 is a VLAN 20. Okay, do exit, show interface. So yeah, gig 0x0 is a trunk interface. Okay, so this interface is a part of VLAN 10, this interface is a part of VLAN 20, and this I have configured as a trunk interface. Okay, so ETH 1x2 is in a layer 2 mode, right? If you will see here. Now what we can do here, we can create a sub interface here, right? So I'll go to the interface. I'll come here. Okay. Now, how you can create a sub interface with your Palo Alto Firewall? You need to come to the interfaces and then you need to select the interface. Okay. Which interface I want to create it as a? That is my ETH 1x2, right? So I'll choose ETH 1x2 and I'll add sub interface here, right? and I will configure it as a VLAN 10, right? Tag value as a VLAN 10, right? Okay. Then I can put it in the L2 zone or L3 trust zone. Since this is configured in a layer 2 mode, so it is not giving us the option to choose as a layer 3 mode. Okay. So in this mode, what I will do, I will remove the previous settings. Okay. That concept we have already covered. So I will configure it as a layer 3 mode. Let's say this interface is configured in a layer 3 mode. Okay. So we will see how we can enable the sub interface basis configuration. Okay, let me choose it as a layer 3 first. Okay, now I'll put it in a default virtual table. Okay, I'll put it in a L3 trust zone. Okay, now this time I'll configure the sub interface because I want to forward these two VLANs traffic, right? What I'm doing here I need to forward this VLAN traffic and this VLAN traffic from this firewall to the internet. Okay, so I'll be creating one VLAN sub interface here and one VLAN sub interface virtual interface here. That will be the gateway for this VLAN, and this interface will be the gateway for this VLAN, and then we will allow the policy. Okay, so how we can create the sub interface? You need to click on add sub interfaces here, right? And then here you can choose the tag, which tag you want to forward it through. I want to create a VLAN 10 for this, right? I'll put it in default virtual router. I'll put it in L3 trust zone. Okay. What IP you want to give it here? 10.1.1, 10.1.1. Let's say 100. Okay. Let's say 101/24. Okay. And I'll attach the management profile here just to check the connectivity. Okay, we have already created MGMT. So this way you guys can see this type. This way you can configure the management interface, or sorry, sub interfaces. Okay. Similarly, I need one more sub interface that is for my carrying the VLAN 20 traffic. So I'll put the tag here as a VLAN 20. Okay. Dot value as a VLAN 20 and tag value is a 20. The interface will be a part of virtual router. Here I'll be putting it in a L3 trust zone. Sorry, we have not configured the IP addressing here. So I'll give one IP here, that is my 10s and the 20. Okay, this I'll give it. This is my 20 subnet, so I'll give 20 IP here. Okay, 20.1.1.101, let's say, is the gateway for this 20 subnet. I'll attach the management profile here. Okay. Okay. So guys, this way you can see we can create the sub interfaces. Here it is showing us the tag values. Okay. It will take the traffic from the VLAN 20. It will take the traffic, carry the traffic from the VLAN 10. Okay. So now let me go to the policy. Let's see what is the policy configured. NENE is configured. So we are good to go. Yeah, NENE is configured. L3 trust. From L3 trust, you can see NENE is configured. So we will be able to communicate, right? Now let me commit the configuration first. Commit by me. Okay. In between, let me configure this end device, VLAN 20 device. Just to check whether we are able to. Okay, let me check whether my commit is successfully pushed. Yeah, my commit is successfully applied. You have done the commit, right? Yeah, you have applied. Okay, the system is booting up. I'll assign the 20s range of IP here, and the gateway will be 20. So what I did here, I have given one sub interface here created, right? That is my 10.11.101 is the IP for this gateway, right? And similarly, I have created one more gateway over here that is 20.1.1.101, right? So this will be the gateway for this system, and this will be the gateway for with this VLAN 20 system. Okay. Now let me change the gateway here. En configure terminal IP route 0000. Okay. 0 and 111.101. Right? Do show IP route. Yeah, it's fine. Now let me come to the VLAN 20 PC. En configure terminal interface gig. What is the IP? Gig 0 by 0 we need to configure. Okay. And the IP address is 20 subnet, right? 20.111.255.255.255.0, no shut, exit, right? And then we need to give the gateway for this device also, right? So I'll give the default route pointing towards the sub interface, right? Of the Palo Alto 000. Any destination, any subnet, you need to forward it to Palo Alto sub interface, right? So we have also configured the management profile. So let's try whether we are able to ping our sub interface or not from this device. No, it's not pinging. I think commit, we have not done the commit, right? Yeah, commit. Commit is not applied. So I'll do the commit again. Because we have attached the management profile, right? So we will be able to ping over sub interface IP, right? 11.101. No, it's not pinging. Commit is showing failed because invalid virtual router. Okay, it is showing in virtual router default route 10.1.1.1.0.1 on an interface. ETH 1 by 2 has a different subnet overlapping. Okay, because it is overlapping with our previous lab. So what I will do, I will remove the then let me see. Interfaces. Sorry, I'll go to the interfaces. Let me verify again. Do we have any? Okay, this was the last time configuration that is overlapping here. Let's delete it. Let me delete this, okay? Because we have created a sub interface this time for our VLAN, right? So I'll go to the commit again. Let's see whether this time commit is successful or not, or we are able to connect to the global DNS with the 10s VLANs PC or 20s VLAN PC. Yeah, this time commit is successful. Okay, Let me come here and try to ping the gateway. Yeah, we are able to ping. And from this VLAN 10 also, sub interface. Yeah, we are able to ping. Now I'll try to ping the global DNS or the global IP. Yeah, I'm able to reach. See, 888. Yes, internet is enabled in VLAN 10. Similarly, in VLAN 20, if I'll go and check 888, yeah, we are able to reach. So guys, is it clear? Anyone, any confusion in this? Here, what we did. Any confusion, guys? So let me verify you the logs again. So if I'll go to the management system and I'll go to the monitor tab, right? In session browser, I'll generate the traffic again. I can repeat, I can give the repeat count here, right? Repeat 200. Yeah, we are able to reach. Let me come here. See guys, here our traffic is generated from the 10.1.1.1, right? It is hitting the internet policy and it is also hitting the net rule that we have created. It is a part of, source is a part of L3 trust and it is having an IP address of 10.1.1.1, destination is 8.8.8.8 and it is being translated to 192.168.1.200. That is my interface IP, right? So anyone, any confusion in this, how we configured the sub interfaces in Palo Alto Firewall? Guys,
can
any?
you please go to the sub interface section? The firewall section.
Where?
Network interfaces, where we have added that
Sub interfaces.
Yeah.
Okay. Here you guys can see.
Okay. Just we have added the tag. Okay, VLAN tag. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So 10 and 20 we have added that, and already we have a netting source between this.
In our netting, if you will see why the traffic is going, because we have given in netting policy as a L3 trust zone.
Trust we have this one. Okay, like VLAN.
Yeah, we have configured source as a L3 trust zone. Means everything from the trust zone will be allowed, whether it's a VLAN 10, whether it's a VLAN 20.
Yeah. All
right?
network will be allowed. Yeah, I got it. Then the plan is not suitable. Then whoever access the internet, they will access. Thanks, sir.
Hello, guys, can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, sir. You're audible, sir.
Yeah,
okay. So I think there is some network disconnection, like network interruption in my side or your side. Yeah, Pratik, you can ask.
Sir, like when we did CCNA, so while creating sub interfaces, we had to use that encapsulation .1 Q1. So those things will not be applicable here, right?
Here we are giving the tag value while configuring the sub interface. Here I am defining it as a 1/2.10, right? .10 and tag value as a 10. Right? That means it will be carry the 10 VLAN traffic. Similarly, in second one you can see here we have a 20 tag value, right? Here you can see. Yeah. So guys, I hope this session was helpful for you, right?
Yes, sir. Yes. I'm getting confused here with the. You see, hello, can you hear me, sir? Hello?
For the Palo Alto Firewall sub interface, what I did, I have given this interface as a gateway for this VLAN 10 and this interface sub interface IP as a gateway for the VLAN 20. Okay, since these two are in layer 3, I have configured in a layer 3 trust zone, and this interface is also a part of layer 3 trust zone. So we can create the policy and we enable the communication to the internet, right? So guys, so far we have discussed about the zone concept available with our Palo Alto Firewall, right? We have seen how to create the address object. We have seen how we can create the object groups, address object groups, how we can create the services, how we can create the service groups, how we can apply them with the security policy. And we deployed today our firewall in a layer 3 mode, right? We have seen how to deploy the firewall in a layer 3 mode, how to enable the communication from one zone to another zone, right? How to enable the communication towards the internet through the firewall that we have seen. Or we also have deployed our firewall in a layer 2 mode where we configured a logical grouping of the interfaces in a layer 2. And then we have seen our firewall is creating one MAC address table, right? And it is doing switching or forwarding the traffic based on the MAC addresses learned on its interfaces. And then we also seen how we can enable the communication to the internet in this scenario when our interfaces are configured in a layer 2 mode, right? So for that, what we did, when your interfaces are part of your layer 2, so you cannot configure the layer 2 to layer 3 policy, right? For that, we have created one layer 2, layer 3 logical gateway for this VLAN 10, okay? Then we have given this as a gateway, and then the traffic was forwarded to the internet, okay? So these are the total topics that we have covered today. So I think we are good to go now. If you guys have any query, any confusion, then you can ask, or we will connect tomorrow again.
Hello.
Same time. Yeah, Bukai.
Yes. With the box, I'm talking about the box and the switch. The Palo Alto, you trunk it, right? You trunk it with the switch, right?
Yes. This interface we use.
Yes, this interface was trunk,
yes.
right?
Yeah, this was trunk.
So I'm also asking, I didn't see you trunking the switch and then the router.
Switch and the router, this one?
Yes, the interface. Did you trunk it?
Why? Here we do not need trunk because here only one VLAN is there, right? Trunk is used when you need to forward multiple VLAN traffic.
Okay.
Right? If you have a multiple subnets available here or multiple VLAN, in that scenario, you can also use this as a trunk, okay? But the concept behind the trunk is whenever you need to forward multiple VLAN traffic, then you need to create a switch port as a trunk, right? So if you will see in this diagram, this is a part of VLAN 10 and this is a part of VLAN 20. And we are trying to forward the traffic in upward direction, that is to the internet or through our Palo Alto Firewall. That is the reason I have created this interface as a trunk, because this is my LAN subnet, 10 subnet, this is 20 subnet, and these two subnets will be going to the internet. And these two subnets for going to the internet will use this port for going to the internet, right? So this port will carry these two VLANs traffic, multiple VLAN traffic. That is the reason I put this interface in a trunk mode. Make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay, guys, if you have any query, then you can ask. Then we are good to close. Does anyone have any query?
Sir, I don't have access to the PNet labs.
You will get it from your training coordinator. Okay, Neha ma'am or Soumya ma'am. Okay.
Okay, my training coordinator is Abhishek, sir.
Yeah, you can contact him. Okay, he will share you the lab URL and the credential, so you can log into the lab. Okay, I will recommend you to practice it with me. Okay, then it will be helpful, else you will forget all those concepts. Okay,
because sir, unless we practice, we'll not be able to do these things.
Yes, whatever I have discussed, so many topics today. Okay, we have deployed L3, L2. In L2 we have enabled the internet communication, right? In
Yes.
L3, we have enabled the internet communication. In L3, we have seen how to create the sub interfaces. So all those practicals you need to perform, right?
Because last week only when I enrolled on Monday, I think already you had taken 2 classes. So I was going through those recordings, you know. So I told Abhishek to send me. Like today also I joined little late because he sent me the meeting ID very late. So yesterday also I called him up, you know. So because during the class if अगर वो provide करते हैं ऐसे तो फिर late हो जाता है, means in between you will not be able to understand.
No problem. These are the first few sessions that we are going live. Okay, then we have a permanent Zoom link. Then you can join with that link only. Okay. Then
okay.
Yeah. Okay. So you can coordinate with him for the lab access. Okay. I will recommend you to go through the video that we have discussed today. Prepare your own handwritten notes. Okay. The scenarios that I have covered today. Okay.
Yeah,
and,
that I am
practice
already
it.
doing. That I am already doing.
Yeah, that will be very helpful. Okay, I can also provide you the notes, but that will not be helpful. Okay, I will recommend you to create the lab or the handwritten notes. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, guys. Then we are good to close today's session. Thanks for joining.
Tomorrow will be same. Tomorrow will be same time, right?
Yeah, tomorrow will be same time. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Get the link. Okay, that will be most probably the permanent link or 1 or 2 session live will be there. Okay. But I will recommend you to revise these all topics, okay, that we have discussed today.
Okay, sir.
Then before going forward, okay, at least revise it, what we have discussed today. Tomorrow we will see what is tap mode of deployment, okay, what are the other deployment methods we have with Palo Alto Firewall. Okay, guys, have a great weekend.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much.